guys, it's Anissa. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing a full face using makeup hacks, tips, tricks, just things that I have really learned, and also a few new ones that I'm really not that familiar with, but I've heard good things about. So hopefully all goes as planned in this video. But really the purpose of this video is to implement and emphasize how important it is to try new things, and this is coming from a creature of habit herself. This side of my face is going to be the hack side, and then this side is going to be just how I would normally, not normally, but what it would look like without the hack. That way you guys can kind of tell a difference, hopefully. If you guys are interested to see what we come up with, then keep on watching. All right guys, the first step that we're going to do is to not prime is a crime, to prime is not a crime. Boom. This is the Danessa Myricks Smooth Effects Refining Gel, and today I'm just going for more of a poreless primer. Most of the time I feel like I would go for more of a mattifying or even hydrating because my skin has just been acting out of character lately. What primer does is kind of just sets a barrier in between your face and your makeup, and also gives your makeup kind of a fresh base to sit on. And especially when you're using a smoothing primer, it's really going to just make your foundation and any makeup that you put on's job easier. Next, we are actually going to do brows first, which I know you probably thought you'd never hear me say that, but it's happening. I have started doing my brows first, probably for the past 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know. There's something about it. It gets me going. But I definitely can tell a difference. And also doing eyebrows and eyeshadow first, well, before I did it, everybody was like, well, I do it first because it catches all my fallout, but I used to always bake. The fallout wasn't really an issue because my bake would just always catch it. But now I'm kind of straying away from baking. I still put loose powder under my face, but I don't put on like a whole ton like I used to. And the nice thing too is when I do them first, I didn't like the way that first one was coming out, so I could just wipe it off and it was fine. I'm going to just be using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the color Butterscotch. As you can see, is this the best carved out brow ever? No. But it definitely looks different than this one. This one is a little bit more clean, which this one isn't bad, but you can definitely tell visually. This side of my face, it kind of lifts the brow in a weird way. We are done with the brows. So now what we are going to do is eyes. And for eyes, I am first going to use this e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer, which is another hack because if you guys have been with me for a while, and this is in the color Clay, you guys know that I used to not use eye primer, and I really have only started using eye primer within the past probably 2 or 3 months, but it definitely makes all the world's difference, and I really hope that you guys will be able to see that when I use the colors that I do. Number one, it gives your eyeshadow something to stick to, and it also makes them a little bit more vibrant because they do have something to stick to per se. They're not just kind of being glided onto the skin. I'm going to do this eye on camera, and then I'm going to do this eye off camera, and hopefully you guys will be able to tell a difference. For eyeshadow today, I'm just going to be using this Masquerade Mini by Juvia's. It's just this gorgeous, very colorful, playful palette. What I'm going to do is kind of like a mashup of a brown with a blue glitter lid, but I definitely want to incorporate a very poppy color, that way you guys can tell. I am going to take Burkina and Fulani, and I'm just going to place these all over crease like so. These Morphe brushes, I know this is a little off topic. I have been trying to love these, but some of them are really, really stiff. And I've washed it a few times, and I thought me washing it would kind of help loosen up the bristle hairs because I thought it was just that way because they were new. These are more neutral colors and they still have a pop to them because they have somewhere to stick. I'm not gonna do my eyeshadow any differently on the other. I'm gonna do the exact same techniques and everything and pack it on. And the thing is, if I can get this eye to look like this, it's gonna be because I had to use more eyeshadow and it is going to take me longer. But now I'm going to take Ada and Zuli, kind of mix the two and put these right in my inner corner. Not even deepen, but just make the crease a little bit more rich. And I'm really just focusing it right on that outside. And this is also a little bit of a trick. When you put a warmer shade right in that inner corner, it's going to give your eye an additional dimension. And I guess I will not do it on this eye. That way you guys can hopefully really tell that this eye just has more dimension to it. But now I'm gonna take that same fluffy brush and take those two colors again and just pack them on like so. But this time I'm taking the fluffy brush because I'm not going to blend this. And then going back in with Fulani and Burkini and just putting that right over the crease, the edge of it, like so. I'm excited for this part because I'm really not sure what I wanna do yet, but I think I'm just going to start by taking Chi. I'm going to take my finger and just boom. And I just put it right there. Then I am going to take Delia, which is, if you want to know what my favorite color is, it's this color right here. And then I'm just going to kind of use that color to blend the two together. You see, these colors pop and I didn't even have to do a cut crease. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye, except I'm going to use a brush for both the shades. I'm not gonna do the deep inner crease and I'm not gonna use eye primer. It literally took me 2 seconds to do this eye because it took a lot less to do. You see how the color really stuck over here and versus here? I really just have a really light wash and it makes this eye look weird because there's really no transition between the two versus over here I have that deeper crease. The next two things, you've seen both of them actually in my last video, the Shop My Stash video I just did. I'm going to put color corrector underneath this eye and I actually have been putting my contour on first, and I said in that video, lately I just feel like my contour has not been that good. It's actually something that I really haven't had a lot of practice at, but I found when I put it under my skin, it looked really pretty, but you could still see it. My eyes kind of pop out of my face and it creates this kind of natural shadow underneath. But I also do have dark circles. So what this is going to do is correct those dark circles and hopefully you guys will be able to tell a difference. But it looks so weird because you can kind of see all my pores and stuff. I haven't been putting powder on just because I feel like the cream product and this hang on to it really weird. And by the way, for those of you that were interested, because I know I used my beauty blender after I said I was going to get rid of it, I actually got rid of it. I got rid of a lot of my sponges and really the majority of what I kept was my e.l.f. sponges just because they're my favorite. If you've never heard the saying, it gets worse before it gets better, this is the perfect representation of that. Now I'm going to put this contour. So I'm going to go ahead and take this side of my beauty blender. And it's okay if you don't blend it out all the way because you're gonna put foundation over top of it, but you're still gonna be able to hopefully see it. I've really been loving the way that the contour goes on before my foundation goes on because I feel like it's a little bit easier to blend into the skin. Before I do foundation, this is the step that I've been doing, which this isn't even a hack, this is just a little tip slash trick that I have. I've been using this e.l.f. Aqua Primer Mist to spray my face because it just feels really good. There's not really a visual effect, so I'm gonna go ahead and just spray my whole face and cover up my eyes. For foundation, we are actually going to use this Estee Lauder Double Wear today, and I'm in the color 6W1 Sandalwood, or at least I was when I bought this, so hopefully it's not too awful. I haven't been out in the sun as much, so hopefully it matches me a little bit better. And I do have a foundation hack. Usually I would apply this foundation with just a beauty blender. Going to go ahead and do that on this side of my face, but I'm actually going to use a brush on this side of my face because that's what the hack requires. Before we put our foundation on, just a little kind of side by side to what my face is looking like. And I know my eyebrow isn't perfect, but honestly, I feel like the more I do it, the more confident I will genuinely become in it. But I'm going to go ahead and just do the no hack side first for my foundation, and then I'm going to show you guys what we will do for the other half. Not gonna lie, that was a little challenging because it's hard to do like just the half of your nose and then half of your face. Now we're going to move on to this side of the face, which hopefully this hack doesn't interfere with what I already have going on the face. But basically what it is, you take a brush and you pour the foundation out on your hand first, which I feel like is gonna be a really big waste of product just because I feel like I'm gonna be blending so much of it into my hand, but I'm using about that much. All I'm doing, kind of just tapping it into my brush like so, kind of getting it all evenly distributed. Oh wow. I always thought it was more full coverage with the sponge, but obviously I was wrong. This side definitely looks a lot more full coverage, but I will say, I don't know if it's because I used a brush or if it's because of the technique. This would not be an Anissa Catherine makeup routine if there wasn't foundation in my hair. This side is definitely taking a little bit longer to dry down. I'm just going to go ahead and place this on, but I will say I'm loving this side of the face a lot more than this side. I'm gonna use the clean side of this. And what I love about this concealer, because I'm sure that I have said that this is one of my favorites, is that you have time to play with it. I've noticed with especially my Fenty concealer and with my NYX concealer, they're very dry. So once they dry down, you can't really do a lot with them. And also it looks really weird when you put powder on top of them. It's like they almost go from liquid to powder in a way. My eyes are just naturally, like I've said, gravitated towards this side of the face. I'm not sure if it's because of the eyes. This is another hack that I'm really excited to show you guys. I'm going to be using the Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfect Setting Powder in the color medium 3. For the hack side, I'm really just gonna focus on just pressing it into the skin. You really don't even need that much, as you can see, except there's like smoke in front of my face. You see how flawless that looks? And now I don't even have to worry about putting on extra to get the fallout from eyeshadow. Also, you could see that I really was making sure it was pressed into the skin. This side, I'm kind of just gonna go like that. I'm not focused so much on pressing, but I'm really just focused on getting a large amount of powder onto my face, which I feel like is what a lot of people portray baking to be, because that's really what it is. And also I love this powder because the color of it, you kind of get a really pretty brightening effect with it. Now that we have, which you can kind of see, I have a natural contour. I already have my contour on underneath this, but now this is what I used to do. I would contour after I baked. So that's what I'm going to do. And I would actually not use a sponge because I already have powder product on my face. So now what I'm going to do is I am just going to take this BoxyCharm brush that I have. Now it is time to wipe off the bake. You can automatically see what went wrong here. Because I didn't press it in everywhere and I was kind of just very messy with it, the pigment is more prominent in certain parts of my face. This side is brightened, but this side is brightened and evenly brightened. It sucks because sometimes this lighting doesn't pick up all the stuff that's going on, but right around here it's hanging on really, really weird. And this looks a little bit more harsh because I do have the contour right here. But yeah, versus this side, I feel like you still have that warmness, but it's a lot more diffused. This next hack is going to be using a powder puff and using loose powder to set the whole face. I have these two, which are very different. This is the Bare Minerals, but then this one is the Juvia's Place, and this is like a really pretty yellow color. I'm gonna see if I can slightly mix them. Hopefully it doesn't look awful. I'm so scared to mess this up, guys, because it really has been going so good. That dark powder isn't it, but we will ignore that. Which I know it's a little bit lighter. But the principle of the situation is, if you have a powder that you can find that is exactly your skin tone, use that. When you use a powder puff, number one, you're not wasting product, as you can see. And number two, you can really soak that powder into your face and make sure that you're getting all the coverage that you can possibly get. And it kind of looks all very cohesive and smooth. On this side of the face, I'm just going to take a regular powder. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with pressed powder because I still use it every once in a while. And this is just the L'Oreal Paris super blendable, and this is in the color C7. It's so funny because I feel like their cool tones have a little bit of warmth. This contour still looks kind of harsh versus over here. You can barely tell that it's there, but you know it's there. We just put all this powder on our face, so you may be feeling a little dry, but good thing that you have some setting spray. This is the NYX Matte Finish Long Lasting Setting Spray. And then I just take my beauty blender. Now you look flawless, girl. You look flawless. I am going to do bronzer, and I'm just gonna do the bronzer on the same step, which I'm starting to realize I really like this bronzer, but I don't like the color. It's very red. I'm going to use this e.l.f. Retro Paradise brush. Next, we are going to use blush, and I'm just going to use this e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush, and this isn't Always Rosy. I just haven't used this in a while, and I don't have a blush hack, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. The reason I haven't been reaching for this blush lately is because I feel like it's very bright on me, if that makes sense. It looks kind of ashy. I used to love this blush, guys. This was the first blush I ever bought. It looks pink, but it doesn't look like a natural flush. It looks very chalky, if that makes sense. You guys can look back on my old videos. I used to love this blush, but I think as I have grown more comfortable, the deeper blushes just look so much better on me. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a deeper one real fast. For this side of the face, I'm actually going to use this NYX Sweet Cheeks Matte Blush, and this is in the color Risky Business. I love this blush. That is not chalky, that's just pure color. And I used to use a stippling brush, but if you are kind of getting into blush also, I feel a lot more comfortable using a big loose brush because your color isn't really concentrated. You can really kind of take it where you want it. This is honestly probably one of my favorite hacks, and I don't use it enough on this channel. I'm going to take this Ciate London Confetti Highlighter, and this is just in the color Confetti. It gives me like Physician Formula vibes because, you know, they have that one bronzer that's all the different colors. On this side of my face, I am just going to do a regular highlight. I'm not going to do a nose highlight because personally I think a nose highlight changes the game, and I want you guys to be able to kind of see that difference. Not super blinding. You know, this is for the more natural girls. Spraying your brush with some setting spray, you dip into it, girl, y'all are about to be shook. You see that? That is blinding. What I do when I apply it, I take the edge of it and I apply it, but then when I blend it out, I take the whole brush and I use that to blend it out. Look, hold up. I am so in love with this side of my face. Before we move on to lips, I want to go ahead and finish the eyes really quickly. We're going to do two different things to this eye. First, we're going to put something on the lower lash line. At first, I was telling myself that I want to use this color right here, but I think this look would look so pretty if I did a blue and a purple down here. That way I don't have to pull on my under eye with my fingers. I take just a powder brush of any type and I just pull like that. And when doing your lower lash line, you want to make sure that you connect your lower lash line with whatever you have going on out here. Doing that lower lash line is really just going to, I can't even see, really gonna open up your eye as a whole. I've been loving to use a little eyeliner brush to do my inner corner because I feel like I can get it really precise. I am going to take Zola. So what I do with my inner corner, I connect it down here and then I connect it with my top color just to really open up the eye. I kind of like to, instead of rounding it out, I like to really drag it and really accentuate the natural shape of my eye. Now you can really start to kind of see the difference because that changed your life right there. Next, we are going to do lips. So my lip hack is actually going to be using a lip liner that is darker than the lip color that you are using. But this is the Juvia's Place lip liner, and this is in the color Scorpio. And I know I've said this before, I definitely prefer a gel lip liner over a pencil just because I feel like they're a little bit easier to work with. Now I'm going to take this Juvia's Place Velvety Matte Lipstick in the color Me. I'm just going to put that in the center over here. Just this one on the other side. And now I'm just going to pop lip gloss all over. to not mix up the colors, I'm just gonna do that. This whole lip line that they just came out with goes off. It is some of the most comfortable matte lipstick that I have ever tried. I'm gonna go ahead and pop on this Pat McGrath Fetish Eyes Mascara. All right, guys, this is the finished look. So just to kind of give you a side-by-side comparison, the side that has no hacks doesn't necessarily look bad, but I would definitely say the side that does have hacks looks a lot better. And I will definitely say that the eye contributes to that 100%. Another noticeable one, which I know it's hard to tell just drawing a line down my face, is the nose highlight. The highlight looks gorgeous. Not that it doesn't look good on this side, but this side is definitely more blinding. It's more potent. It's in your face, boom, bam. The eyebrows, now that I have all this makeup on, I can definitely tell a little bit more of a difference. This one looks a lot cleaner, and especially since I decided to clean it up underneath, it kind of has a natural highlight to it. This is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's so amazing to see how far I've come just in the past couple months. This is nowhere near the end. This is just the beginning. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. I will see you in a couple days. Bye.